Hi, this is Allison Ottensmeyer, and my fourth video for our 5 New Technologies assignment is going to be over Google Classroom. Google Classroom is a free website that I feel like is an awesome resource for both as teachers to collaborate and also as teachers to give students assignments and to differentiate among their students too. Google Classroom is a Google resource, so it really works well if your students have a Gmail account. That way you can go ahead and log them in and invite them to Google Classroom through their email. But if not, you can still do it. It's just a little bit different. But I would say that it works best are if you and your students have Gmail accounts, and I know that a lot of schools have switched over to using Google and Gmail. So, with that said, the first step of Google Classroom, I just want to show you that when you log into your account, you can kind of see here that in my Google Classroom, I have different classes. I want to point out that some of these classes we use as PD for our teachers. We have a tech team since we just gone one-to-one, since we just went one-to-one this year. We give a lot of PD from teachers. So this was like a demo class, and then my PD day 2 over here was something that I did, and I walked through teachers on how to set up Google Classroom, and then I put them into like a student perspective. Our principal uses it as a way for us to submit things before we get evaluated. Some kids, as far as that are in special education, we use it also to track different things. So this resource, Google Classroom, has been used in a variety of ways. But besides just PD and like a resource for your teachers to communicate with other teachers and share ideas with, I do use it in my classroom with my kindergartners. So I'm going to show you a class that I did. It's math. And before you would do your class, you'd go up here to this plus sign and you would hit create class, and then you would just create your class. Once you've created your class, it will pop up in this little section. So I'm going to go ahead and click on math. And up here in the students tab is where you will invite your students. You can invite them via email. You can also invite your students through this class code, which is right over here. I invited mine through email so that it just popped up on their device saying that they were invited to the classroom. I've also found, I'm going to back up just for a second. I've also found that when working with younger kids, it is best to have a classroom for each subject, and I've also color coded those. I also put like math 1, 2, 3, phonics, ABC, just because when my kinders came to me, they couldn't read yet. So having them color coded into some like little clues on which classroom I was talking about, it really helped us. So when you get into your classroom, you're more than likely going to want to assign an assignment. So you're going to come over here, you're going to hit the plus sign, then you're going to hit create an assignment. And the cool thing about this is that you can type in whatever. You can also do this little drop down menu, and you can choose if you want it to go to all your students or to a specific set of students. I have a classroom for Miss O's table. In this classroom, I maybe only submit a document or an activity for a group of students to use versus everybody, just so that I can differentiate in my guided math and guided reading groups. But you would go ahead and put in your title. So we just did a Google Slides thing with Unifex cubes. Then you would go here to your Google Drive or wherever you have your classroom activities. And like this is the one that I would click on, and I would go ahead and click add. And then the main thing that you want to make sure that you do is when you come down here, it says students can view file. For them to edit it and write on it and move pieces, if you have something that's movable, you will want to make sure that you make a copy for each student. There are a lot of resources that uses Google Slides and other Google apps on Teachers Pay Teachers, which is where I found a lot of them. There's also a lot of tutorials on YouTube on how you can make slide activities for your kids. So I've just kind of self-taught, but it's been a great way to differentiate and get my kids using technology, but also working on skills and it being like a valuable time in their independent learning. So then you would just hit assign and then it would pop up on your student's classroom. One little thing that I do want to show you about up here in the About tab. If you go to the About tab and you go over here to your class drive folder, this is a cool thing because it sorts all of your students' assignments. So, like if I wanted to go to this October 12th fluency practice, I would just click on that and then I would be able to see all of my kids and what they did. And even if they did not turn it in, I would still be able to see their progress on it and then be able to, approach those students who maybe need extra support or, so on and so on. So I just find it cool that it goes ahead and, like it sorts your work for you so that you're not having to search all over for it. And I also can like share these with their parents. So if I said, oh, look, so-and-so did a really good job on their fluency practice today, take a look at it. And I can just go in there and put share with their parents, and they like to see what they're doing. So like I said, Google Classroom is a great way to, differentiate and provide a rich learning environment that's really technology based. And it's also a great way to collaborate and offer some PD for your fellow colleagues. But all in all, I really love Google Classroom and what it has done for my teaching. So I would say that Google Classroom follows the ISTE Student Standard 1B and the ISTE Educator Standard of 5B.